There's a reason why barberries, Berberis and Berberis varieties have become very popular garden plants down through the years. They're tough, hardy, reliable, easy to grow, put up with drought in the middle of the summer if they have to, adapt well to different types of soils, are really easy to grow. And the big thing with them also in this area is that deer normally don't browse on them. But it's also true to say that in some areas they become invasive and seed into the landscape. But thanks to the visionary work of Dr. Mark Brand and his team at the University of Connecticut, they have developed this selection of Berberis, which is called Berberis Worryfree Crimson Cutie. And this is one that brings all of the benefits I was just talking about: hardiness, reliability, easy to grow, easy to look after, long-lasting, colorful display, and all of those things, plus the fact that this is one that he's developed through modern scientific methods to be non-invasive. This is one that will not seed into the landscape, so we can enjoy all of those benefits that I just talked about, but in addition to that, not have to be worried about it seeding into the landscape. That's why we call it Berberis Worry-Free Crimson Cutie. So now in the nursery, we're able to bring you this exciting variety and bring with it all of the desirable qualities of growing this beautiful little compact and very hardy shrub, but not have to be concerned about it seeding into the landscape. It's a plant that's very hardy. This is a zone 4 plant. It grows about 18 inches to maybe 2.5 foot high at its most, by about 3 foot wide. It's slightly wider rather than tall. And as you see, it produces this dark purple, almost kind of semi-glossy foliage that it carries on its rounded, compact habit. It starts to produce its leaves in the early part of the spring, then leaves out and holds this lovely color right through the summer months. When we get into fall and we get cooler temperatures, you'll see it take on beautiful orange and red shades then before it drops its leaves. It does drop its leaves in the winter time, but after that, in springtime, it will re-leaf again, and out, of course, it comes with this nice, tight, compact habit. Now, you'll notice on older, mature plants that it will carry little yellow flowers in the early part of the summer, and those little yellow flowers may occasionally have little red berries. But what's interesting is that because of the development of this selection, those red berries do not produce seed. If you open them up and slice them through the inside, you'll see that they are empty and they don't have the embryo that then would lead to a seedling. So that's the important part of this variety. It's one that has been thoroughly tested and proven to be sterile. So that means that now at last we're able to take this and plant it out either as a single specimen, perhaps a group of them like we have there in a bed or a border. You might even think about putting it down as a little boundary hedge, perhaps round the front of a bed or a border. It does have prickles on it. That's what makes Berberis so distinctive. But that, in a way, is something that can be a benefit, particularly if you're trying to create a boundary hedge. You would put these plants in probably about 2.5 to 3 foot or so apart, and that will then make a beautiful little rounded, compact hedge. And because it has that tight, compact habit, it's an ideal plant for using as a little edger. Would be very good in town gardens or for planting in courtyards and tight spaces, places where perhaps it can be trimmed to keep it ultra tight and compact and bushy. Because it's so tough and hardy, it makes a great plant for putting up on hillsides and sloping banks too. And if you have the space, you can plant this en masse and then of course be able to enjoy these mounds of dark purple foliage for months and months on end. It's a good little plant for putting in at the sides of paths and driveways too. So whether you just have a small garden or a larger area, or perhaps even a brand new garden that's open to the elements, a kind of raw site where it has to face perhaps some adverse weather conditions, you'll find that because this is so tough and hardy, it makes a very good, what I call a pioneer shrub. One of the first things that you can put in to a bed and border and know that it's going to thrive, get established and do very well. It does best in sunny locations, although it will grow in a partially shaded site too. When it's in lower light conditions, you won't get quite as dark purple foliage as these plants have. When you grow it in shadier conditions, you'll notice that the color of the foliage is often more of a muted green color. Now, if you'd like to find out more about this variety, check out some of the other videos here on this channel. We publish some that will go into more detail about the plant, and also there's a couple on there that will show you my recommendations for pruning and clipping it too. And when you're there, if you haven't already, think about subscribing to our channel too. You'll find then that as we publish new videos, which we're doing all the time, they'll turn up automatically in your feed. And if you don't mind, it would be really nice if you would hit the like button too, because that helps other people find out about this sort of information as well. So bottom line, we're excited to tell you about this new innovative selection of Berberis Worryfree Crimson Cutie that doesn't seed into the landscape but brings you all the tough and hardiness and reliability, colour and ease of growth, and easy to look after nature of a tough and reliable plant. It's another really good example of the sort of work we put into trialing and testing and bringing you the best performing selections that we can lay our hands on. This is David Wilson. Enjoy your gardening. It's good for us and it's good for our environment too.